Good evening, guys. Hope we are all well. Neil Cook, Spirit Medium for GSI Paranormal, and also a freelance medium for myself and other companies. Just checking everything's all right. As you're probably aware, we've had numerous problems with our rendering, our Facebook live feeds, and other bits and bobs. So we're just seeing if it's working now. What I'm going to do is share this page so it'll hit across the audiences, and if you can do that too, I would really appreciate that. Pete, hello there. Hope you're well, mate. Hope everything is all right. Like I say, if you want to share, guys, then please do like and share it to the right pages. That way it'll hit the right audience. Let me just make sure I share it across to my wall as well, on my own timeline. Yeah. There we go, and I'll share it across to my other page as well. Right, let's see who's here. Shared, thank you very much, Peter, much appreciated. Or do you prefer Pete? Topics tonight, the topic is open. It's your topic. If there's anything you would like to ask, then I'll do my utmost best to answer that, whether it be paranormal or spiritual. As I always say, I'm not looking to connect to spirit tonight, but if anything comes through, then I'll do my utmost best to pass that information on. Mandy, good evening. Vicky Hardy, good evening. She's just there, she is. Helen Steele, thank you. And Alan Willis, thank you for joining us. Alan Willis is part of, what they're called now? Skinning Grove Paranormal. Alan Willis, pop along and see his page as well. Craig Whitney, thank you for joining. Kerry Renton, thank you for joining. Hope you and Ben are okay. Michael Smith, let's hope you can keep on for all of the live feed if your Commodore 64 doesn't pack in. And Josephine Northover, thank you for joining as well. Hi everybody. Don't forget, all these people on this wall are pretty much sensitive, if not something to do with paranormal, and if I miss your comment, I'm sure these guys will answer it on my behalf. Helen, Vicky is just sat to my left, and she's monitoring the conversation as well, so if I do miss anything, then she'll catch it as well. If I have any problems with me audio, guys, please let me know, then we can rectify that hopefully ASAP. Hopefully everything's going to be all right tonight. Hi Leslie, hope you're well. Good evening, guys and dolls. Well done, Michael. Yes, talk among yourselves, guys. That'll give me a rest and stop my mouth going a little bit sore. I did forget to mention the other day, Joe Scott, one of our paranormal and spiritual friends, had made me a little gift the last time she seen me, and I didn't thank her for it. Joe once made me this. She works with glass, and she made me this little, kind of like an ashtray, not a coaster, and I tend to put all my loose change on it. She works with glass and she does a lot of things, and this was the last thing she made me. Isn't it beautiful, guys? It's glass, it's a mixture of glass all mixed together so you get the right colours, and then I use it for my bits and bobs on my desk, and I drop all my loose things on there out of my pockets. David Anderson, thank you for joining us. Hope you're well. If you've got any topics, guys, now is your chance to raise that question, and I'll do my utmost best to answer it.
Alan Willis has got a question for you.
Yep,
Haunted
sure.
objects, what are your thoughts on them?
Haunted objects, Alan. I don't believe the object itself is haunted. I believe that the energy connected to it is spirit, and we have a lot of things in this world which are much loved. If it's not like something which is being passed down as a family heirloom, then it's your granddad's medals, or even going back to the Morning Doll, which is the so-called haunted doll. These items were much loved items. They were given to a person who was special, whether it be someone on this earth plane or someone who had passed over, and we tend to find that the energy attached attaches itself to him. So when a good medium handles these items, they pick up more of the energy surrounding them rather than the energy within, if that makes sense. So with regards to a haunted doll, teddy bear, device, whatever, I don't think the spirit's within. I believe the spirit is around this item. Therefore, when we interact with this item, we're literally interacting with spirit which is attached to it, if that makes sense. I know we're all made out of the same thing, which is energy, and I don't believe for 1 minute that an object made out of wood could be actually haunted, because it's always sensuous things which have a spirit, a mind and soul, and not your piece of tree or your toy car. Spirit will manipulate these items and move them, whether it be a toy or something else, but what spirit won't be is within that object. It'll be attached to it. I hope that answers your question, Alan. That's my beliefs anyway. I've never come across a haunted tree yet, but I have seen some spooky things around the woods, if that makes sense. Let me just give some shout outs. Everything's working fine so far, touch wood, talking about tree. Josephine Northover, I hope you're getting well. If we can send some healing towards Josephine. She's a little bit poorly at the moment with a poorly leg and foot, if I remember rightly, and an injury to that, and she's not a true self. Now that most of us this kind of the year, we're all suffering with some kind of flu-like symptoms or a horrendous cold. Rennie Jenkins, thank you for joining us. That is gorgeous. I'm assuming you're referring to the glass item there. It is. If Joe pops along shortly, I'll get her to post her link in the comments, and you can pop along. Joe Scott, and it's glass work she works with. She does a lot of things with normal glass. She puts them in a kiln and melts them into pretty much anything you want. And I'm probably right in saying that she can seal things within the glass, so if there's something which is valuable or much love to yourself, I'm sure she can encase it in the glass for you as well. Can she do me? Yeah. Lisa Booker, thank you for joining us. Hope you're well. I'm just going to nip down these comments, guys, just to make sure I've hit everybody and not literally. Please like and share, guys. Well, not so much the like, but the share factor, because we hit a bigger audience, and the more people who interact on this page, the better it goes with regards to topic, and it tends to go on a little bit longer. When the numbers start dropping off, then obviously people are getting tired. So the bigger the audience, the more interaction, the more new friends we make, and the interest in the topic it gets. Let me just nip down, see if there's anything else. Josephine Brisket, thank you for joining, a friend of mine. Any questions, guys? Any questions? See if there's anything which pops up. Did you all see our Halloween special video? We uploaded it to YouTube. It's also on the GSI and Neil Cook Spirit Medium wall. It was our events which were filmed by a good friend of ours, Jamie Oliver. He doesn't like that. Good evening, Shane. Hope you're well, mate. Jamie videoed our event on Halloween on the 27th, well, was it the 28th? 27th. We had an amazing night connecting to Spirit in the Fox, which is in the North Yorkshire town of Gisborough, and we had some really good interaction. I will say that the Spirit within the pub didn't interact with us as much as we wanted to. However, I think the people who were at this event brought more energy with them, more spirit with them than actually what spirit was in there, because we did a experiment, not only as the human pendulum, but we did an experiment with a circle of everybody, and we asked spirit to communicate with the individual using ITC, and myself. We got a lot through. We connected to a lot of people. People were asking random questions with regards to who is my nana, what's my brother's name in spirit, and we got some amazing responses, and all of that is in the video. well put together by our good friend Jamie Hughes, and it was an amazing night. I think one of the amazing things that night was the food, and this was all provided by Michael Crane, who's the landlord of this location, and he did us proud. Whether or not we return there on another public event, I don't know, because it was an unprecedented event. It was a one-off. Whether we can get back in there again as an event company and do the same thing again and let some other people have a suck of the sauce bottle, that'll be another question. But yes, an amazing night.
Got a question?
Yep.
Julian has asked, why are spirits present at night time mainly?
We are more sensitive to spirit when we are relaxed than we are during the day. And I always say there's that much going on, Gillian, with the hustle and bustle in our lives, that we kind of miss these signs from spirit. And it's only when we quieten our mind that we're more likely to connect and hear and see spirit. And your question kind of answers it. At night, this is when we're more likely to connect and see and smell and hear spirit, because we are more relaxed. If you think, if your brain has been a very busy radio station and it's got all the charts blasting out all day long, well, come the end of your day, the evening, this is when we've kind of tuned from Radio 1 right away down to the quiet radio station, maybe Radio 4, and we're more likely to hear the ambience of our surroundings rather than the hustle and bustle of the day. But spirit is around us all the time. I genuinely believe that heaven starts where we stood, and it's all around us. The spirit world is around us, and if we do go to heaven once we transit into this afterlife, then heaven starts here. I don't believe there's a hell. Hell is where we're at now. It's the earth plane, and we're here to learn and do better things. This is our classroom. Once we transit into spirit, take our transition, then it's only then that we have the heavenly like angelic feel to the afterlife we do. But yeah, we're more relaxed, and this is why we connect to spirit more at night as well, because we end up going into a hypnotic state in the sleep side of our day, and this is when we start hearing spirit more clearly. Spirit will come to us in our dreams and submissively put messages into our heads, and not all spirit will communicate with the loved ones, because we're dealing with the grieving process, and some of us are just not ready for that interaction yet. And a lot of people do say, why don't my loved ones in spirit come to me? It's not because they're not there, it's just that kind of, they don't always interact, and not all of us are sensitive as well, so we don't always see and hear them. We don't. Any more questions, Vicky?
Not that I can see.
Mark Butterworth, yes we do. We're assigned with a spirit guide or guides from birth. One is assigned to us before we carnate into this life, and it's normally someone connected to you from a previous life path. This could be someone you once worked with, someone who once saved your life, someone who once you saved their life. If you think of the Derek Akora and Sam thing, they worked together, or they were together in a previous life path, and unfortunately they both lost their lives together. Sam came back and he was assigned to Derek in this life path, and he's assisting him from the spiritual side. Unfortunately, because Derek is very sensitive, then he's aware of his spirit guide. My connections with my spirit guide go back to a previous life path. We were both from Texas. He's you probably heard, my Texan cowboy, and we had that relationship in a previous life path. We don't always get someone who's not connected to us, as in like Sam or Derek. We may have a loved one assigned to us, and this could be, let's say our nana or granddad or uncle, brother, uncle or someone else passed away before we were born, then this person could also be one of our spiritual guides. So if your nana or granddad passed away before you came into this world, then you could essentially have your nana or granddad guiding you. But your spirit guide is only one of many. What you have to remember, you have a circle of guides as well, and this could span out to the animal kingdom as well. So your much loved pets who go to spirit could also be there, also assisting you, and you'll hear a lot of sensitive people talking about the animal kingdom when it comes to guides. You will. My nan is mine, from Jonathan Wood. Thank you, Jonathan. There you go, classic example.
Helen has said, have you had a chance to go back to see the little boy in the family of his past life experiences? I was just explaining to Helen in the message that Lisa's actually on here, the little boy, and at some point this week we'll have to arrange to go back to her. We also have Cheryl, who's messaged us as well. We have to go to her house because her little girl is seeing shadow figures on the landing and she's scared to death.
Yes, we do intend to do that with Lisa, as Vicky said. Can you all hear Vicky? If so, can you give us a thumbs up if you can hear Vicky? We do intend to, thank you very much guys, we do intend to go back and see Lisa, and as Vicky explained as well, we've got another one to see as well. The unfortunate thing is we're so busy this time of the year with our normal day jobs, it's very hard for us to kind of fit all this paranormal and spiritual things into our playtime as of such. Yeah, it can be really stressful for everyone this time of the year. Is it Jimmy? I have a spirit guide who is an Indian with long grey braids. He has been seen by many mediums who do not know me. Yes, it's some spirit guides will show themselves to sensitive people. I know I've had many experiences as a medium meeting up with other people and seeing their spirit guides. Most of them have also been spiritual mediums as well, spiritual people, and from time to time we do connect to the individual spirit guide who's connected to people like your good self. It's an amazing thing that these people are here looking out for us. I do believe the guide us on our spiritual journey, on our spiritual path, and they do influence our thoughts. I genuinely believe that when we get to the crossroads in life and we're not sure which fork to take in that road, spirit will push us in the right direction. When can we go to the Skinning Grove, please? Skinning Grove Mines.
I phoned him today actually.
We're
waiting for him to get back to me.
We're in the process of arranging the Skinning Grove and Ironstone Mines, Jamie. And as and when we're going there, then you'll get a heads up straight away, mate. It's an amazing place. They're spending a lot of money on it at the moment, and whether these renovations are done or not, we're not quite sure, but they're spending a lot of money on just kind of bringing it back to its glory day. They're making the mine entrance more accessible because there was a problem with the main drift mine, and it was closed the last time we went there. And the good thing about the work and repairs on these locations is we always find that when things get changed, it messes with the fabric of the building, and that kind of incites spirit. It kind of brings them back to the surface. Not only are they seen by the workers within there who were doing the renovations, but they're more audible to people like our good selves and yourself. So yes, we're looking forward to that. Nice to hear a Geordie accent. Although it's got that Geordie twang, I'm actually 50 mile down the road on Teesside, Middlesbrough, if you're aware where that is, and your name's just disappeared off the screen, so I forgot. Oh, there you are, Lynn. Nice to hear that Geordie accent, Miss Living.
Can we just go back?
Yep, sure.
A couple of well, quite a few. Gillian has asked, we're in the completing of the purchase of a hotel and being told there is a man spirit there, feeling rather anxious. What should I do? Ask him to leave?
I would ask us to come and see you. Who are you going to call? GSI. You will always have residual and intelligent spirit in a location. Everything which is passed through that location and it's in the afterlife, if it had fond memories and connections to that location, then it will play on a loop, as what we call the stone tape theory. So there'll always be the residual energy there. Who was that from? Sorry? Gillian, yeah, you'll always have the residual energy there. What you'll also have is the energy of what we call intelligent spirit, the spirit that you will see, the spirit which will communicate with you, and the spirit which you will hear from time to time. The worst scenario of spirit you're going to deal with is a negative, grumpy old person. You're not going to deal with anything more than that, because what is your definition of demonic evil? Mine is Hitler, evil, the mass murderer, but other than that, it's only the living which will hurt you, not the dead, as all our mothers once said. Do you want him to leave? Do you want to know the history lesson behind why he's there? Has he got a story to tell? Is it something else more sinister? Who knows? Getting a good paranormal investigation company in there to have a look around, or a medium to connect to this energy or energies, because more than likely there'll be more than one, is probably your first option. Let me just get comfortable, guys. It could be the case that we do find that when we get invited to these locations where people complain to hear and see spirit, you sometimes find that this spirit is actually connected to your good selves. Not all spirit is something lurking in the shadows from a previous tenant or previous time, or belongs to the land rather than the building. You could find that spirit is actually connected to you. Spirit doesn't attach themselves to people and follow them around, but your loved ones do. So you'll never get some kind of dark energy following you home from a haunted castle. So yeah, it needs investigating and address it as from there, and any good medium will be able to do that for you.
Looks like we're going to Devon.
We're going to Devon. Awesome.
That's where the hotel is.
I will say that all our services are free because we don't charge for what we do, because we have a passion for the quest of the paranormal, and providing that it's a genuine request, then we'd come anywhere for the price of a packet of hobnobs, because we love our biscuits. We do. I'm just gonna get a drink, guys.
I have a question of Pixie Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
GSI Paranormal, do I have psychic abilities, and if I do, how can I use them?
I always say, Pixie, we all have that psychic gift. It starts with intuition, and I'm sure from time to time your intuition has been 100% correct. There's been a time where you've seen, heard, or spoken to someone, and you just know something's not right, whether it's to do with their welfare, or could it be that they were a bad person? That's where it starts. We all have these gifts. Some have the more sensitive gifts than others, from clairsentious all the way up to clairaudient. So it's working with this. You have to remember the hustle and bustle of life kind of clutters up this part of the brain, and we forget to use it, or forget how to use it, and it's just awakening that part of your brain again, and these senses. A good friend of ours who's normally on the chat, Michael McIver, came with us once on a paranormal evening. Not only did I connect with him and his ability to open up, he wasn't sure he could. And a year and a half later, he's now stood on the podium within the spiritual church doing his psychic abilities and readings for your good selves. So it is there, it can be opened, and it's just a matter of opening it up, learning how to open it up, and keeping yourself grounded at the same time. I always suggest you start with meditation, only small amounts of meditation. I don't mean go off in your own world for an hour and come back, because there's too many distractions in our life for us to actually to keep our mind stimulated for probably more than 10 minutes anyway. Us men have trouble trying to focus on one thing at any one time anyway. However, my dad did once say that Dolly Parton was the only woman who allowed him to concentrate at two things at once. I didn't know what he meant by that, but yeah, it's hard for us to kind of keep fixated on one thing without the dog barking, as you've just heard there, the taxi door horn going off, or someone knocking on our door. So it's just small spurts of meditation will assist you on your journey.
We've had a question of Jamie saying, shush. Have you ever lost time and can't remember during an investigation? I had this happen to me, and it was only 5 minutes when it was 30 minutes. Yes,
I have. One of my first experiences with spirit and my spiritual gift was I can remember everything in front of me just kind of fallen away. It was kind of like a Matrix thing when you watch these kind of sci-fi movies and everything just pixelates and falls away in front of you. I'd actually seen what was previously in front of me, and this was something I was doing on my own, and I didn't go out there to do it. It just happened inadvertently. I was stood in the garden. I was looking at a landmark from a distance, and then I just saw everything kind of pixelate and fade away and fall away in front of me. And I was stood staring into this landscape which I'd never seen before. Whether I was remotely viewing and seeing something which was previously there, because of my inexperience with mediumship at the time, I didn't kind of get the right connection, and then it all kind of just came back into the room, if that makes sense. And what appeared to be a minute was more than 5 minutes, until someone caught my attention, and like I said, I was back in the room. It does happen, and this is where we zone out and connect to spirit. Some people will say we're daydreaming, it's something else. I know I did a lot of daydreaming at school, and kind of fell asleep all the way through the math lesson, but that's a different subject anyway. But yes, it does happen, but not all of us know we've done it, because do we just put it down to daydreaming, or is it something spiritual? Yes, it can happen, it does happen. Classic example is what you've just told us there, and I previously had that experience as well. Sheila Richardson, I see you're in the comment. Thank you for joining. Do apologise for not shouting earlier. Hope you're well.
The little girl, I don't know if you saw a couple of weeks ago, or I think it was maybe last week, that somebody had got in contact with us about her little girl being scared to go to bed. She was absolutely terrified.
Yes.
And Cheryl has just sent me a picture of what Layla sees.
Okay then.
So I don't know if if I come close to the camera and show you the drawing that Layla's done, the little girl.
Whether it'll show on here, because the quality is quite poor. Come here then, good girl.
So this is as if it's like walking through from one side of the wall to the other. It's not 4 people, but she sees it passing from the wall to the door. Mm-hmm. And that's what she sees, and then she's described it looking like it's got big ears, it's black.
Is it the one with the blacked out face?
Yeah.
Right, I see.
But this is what she sees, and she's absolutely petrified to go to sleep on a night.
Right.
So I don't know if anybody can give us any suggestions of what...
Children's minds have a very creative image when it comes to connecting to spirit. It's their interpretation of what they're seeing, and it's a bit like the old the police, how can I put it, the identity parade. you see something happen, you swear blind that they were wearing a red jumper and a black trousers, and they had an afro hair and a pointy nose, and when the actual person is convicted of the crime, they just look totally different. The children's side of this is kind of cartoonish as well. So what she may be seeing in the clear image in her head may be harder for her to put it to paper. So just give me a minute, please. So it's harder for them to kind of express that thought to paper. I mean, I can't draw to save my life, guys. I'm lucky if I can draw Snoopy, and he's just a kind of basic character. But yeah, it's their interpretation of what they see and hear in the head is totally different when they try and portray this in not only verbal but on paper as well. So yeah, but we're going to go there. We're going to make an effort to get round there and see what we can pick up from Spirit, and then we'll let you know of our findings as well. John Todd, thank you for joining us. Good evening, my friend. Guys, if you're just new to this channel, if you've just joined tonight, or you previously come here all the time, thank you very much for doing so. I have asked you guys to share this live feed, and the reason being is it will hit the right audience. I don't like sharing it because I might send it to the wrong person who don't believe in this, but you guys know who's on your wall, so I would appreciate that. Share to 19 friends. Helen, thank you very much. Helen only has 19 friends, so that's all of her Facebook. I'm only kidding, Helen. But yeah, it'll hit the right audience, and it's good to see all you guys interacting on here between yourselves as well as this. And Sheila Richards said the volume is fine. Some people try and turn my volume down, and that's just me speaking. Do you think crystals help to aid communication with spirit if you're sensitive already? Yes, they do. A lot of people are really into the crystals. The home is kind of a shrine with crystals, and each unique crystal has its own unique quality, whether it's a healing crystal or something to connect to spirit itself, right down to love and keeping the darkness away. And I know I don't believe in darkness as of such. What I'm saying is more of a negative kind of energy, and it's good to keep everything cleansed and blessed, and this crystal would help that. I don't know as much as about crystals as I'd like to. I know we've got a few around the house, and maybe it's something I should kind of look into a little bit more to assist myself as well. I will thank Helen Steele and Michael Smith for the presents we received off them the other day. They were up at our location for the not only our Halloween party, which was mine and Vicky's engagement, but they came to the event at the Fox Inn as well, and she bought us a lovely healing crystal which is being made into a light, and it has some really good energies attached to it with regards to healing and all the other things. So and that's switched on in the other room as we speak. It's that heavy, this crystal. If I dropped it on my toe, then I wouldn't have toes anyway. But thank you very much, Helen. I appreciate that. Yep, Mick, we didn't know you were a Geordie lass. Any more comments?
I think we've answered
Elaine Walker, we can't hear you. Sorry.
It's just her. I've asked everybody else.
All right. Okay then.
That's why I asked.
Yep, thank you for joining Barry. Barry Frankish is part of BRF Paranormal. He has an amazing wall on Facebook timeline with everything spiritual and paranormal. There's some good stuff on there along the podcasts he does with other people, and some of his findings as well. He does share a lot of things as well, so you will get a lot out of BRF Paranormal. So when you get time, guys, pop along and see Barry. I did notice Shane Corbett on our wall. If you're still with us, Sean, I keep saying Sean, I do apologise. Shane, if you're still with us on the wall, them guys are Northern Ghost Hunters. As you're all aware, Shane and Andrew were very much part of the GSI Paranormal family, and we spent a year in his good company to the extent that he became a brother to me, and Andrew Marva's sister. But yeah, we've had a good year of working in the field of paranormal, and some amazing things, not only outside of the paranormal but in the paranormal world as well. And I just want to salute you guys, Northern Ghost Hunters guys. If you're not following them already, which you probably are, because they're very much out there on Facebook. They're just building an audience now with the new followers on the new page. Please pop along and give them a like. Claire, Missy, thank you for joining us as well. Leon Lawton, thank you for joining us as well. Thank you for joining. Any questions guys, any topics you'd like to raise, any questions you've got, we'll do our utmost best to answer them. I will say we've got something which is a private event this month. We're going down to Hull. I'm not sure of the name of the place. Wholesome House, Vicky said. It's a mecca hotspot for the paranormal world. I think Fake Haunted have been there as well. We're going down there on, I think, the 25th of this month to do a private investigation at this location. We will bring you all of our findings. Hopefully Jamie, our videographer, can come along with us and capture this in words and pictures as well. That would be really good if he can join us. But yes, we've handpicked an audience to go with us, because we've been given the opportunity to take a handful. It's been no favouritism. We've just grabbed a total of 10 people to come along with us. As and when these events come up in the near future and we can do the same, then we'll put it out there for you guys. And if anyone's in the neighbourhood nearby, then you can certainly come along and join us as well. That would be great. We are also looking, I know it's the winter months now, and it's that time of the year where a lot of people are concentrating on the families and Christmas and the holidays. They don't get out much with regards to the paranormal things, but we are looking to do some free venues as well. These will be certain locations which are open to the public, like haunted locations, abandoned ruins. We have a castle not too far away from us, which is open season. You can just walk in any time of the year. It's pretty much a ruin with no roof, but it's also a place where all our avid ghost hunters go. Alan Willis camps there pretty much every night. Him and Craig Whitney are always there.
Actually messaged Craig. He's seen more stuff, seen more and more stuff happening here. If you were free in the next few weeks, could you and Vicky pop over?
Where's this at?
Have the
Oh, right.
To Craig's house. He's experiencing some stuff, isn't he?
Yes, Craig Whitney's had quite a lot of stuff going on. He did personally come to see me and ask me, could I do this, and I did say we'll fit you into our calendar, but unfortunately, and I'll be truthful about this, we forgot all about it, Craig. But thank you for reminding us, and we'll look at doing something soon. And if there's hobnobs on the go, then yeah, we'll be there tomorrow. Let's see if there's anyone else. Hi, sorry, I froze.
There's a few people who is the first time on here, so...
Yep, all you guys who've joined for the first time, thank you for joining us. Colette McArdle, thank you for joining us. Let's see who else there is. Sarah Jane Tyndall, if it's pronounced right. Hi, good evening. I tell you what, guys, let us know where you're watching from as well. If you're watching from a part of the world we don't know, I see Danny is watching from Quebec in Canada. Let us know where you're watching from, guys. It'll be interesting to know how big the audience is. We've got 33 people watching at this moment in time, which is amazing for this time of the night. Most people are asleep or just getting up for work. But let us know. Chris Hallchurch, a friend of mine, thank you for joining too. Let us know where you're watching from. We'll give you a shout out to your part of the world, and it'll be just good to know how big of an audience we're hitting tonight as well. Worksop, which is not too far away from us, excuse me, from Nottingham, thank you, that's great, and from Liverpool as well, Colette, awesome. Scotland, our wee friend June, thank you. Cardiff, awesome, thank you very much. South Carolina, I love that place. It's I must get to the States. I must get over there sometime. It's been a long time, not only in my past life. Whitby, good old Whitby. Sheila, on the spirit box, the echo box we were doing the other night, and it's in the video, we asked Spirit where Sheila was from, and they turned round and actually said her town. Now, spirit boxes and echo boxes don't have named places. Not only did it shout the location we were in, which was Gisborne, but it also shouted people's hometowns when asked. That was amazing. You must watch the video. It's the Fox Inn Halloween special. It's on both the GSI wall and Neil Cook's Spirit Medium wall, and there was some amazing spirit interaction right towards the end. We were using the Equavox, which was just on a normal tablet. It's a simple piece of software which can be manipulated, and it works on a phonetic thing, so it'll kind of build the words up. So if you were to ask a person's name, it would break it up phonetically and say something like Williamson, and this is something which is a connection. I'm back on again. It scans through all the frequencies, and it was doing this, and yes, Sheila, it said it straight away. It did. Rock salt lamp, yes, rock salt lamp, that's right. I thought you were telling me a place where you were living. Let's just have a look. 44 people on this live feed tonight, Vicky.
That's said hello to everybody.
That's amazing. We do get a good audience, but I think this is one of the biggest audiences we've had so far. 47 people have just been watching. Neil Swinburne, this gentleman lives just up the road from me. Good evening, hope you're well. If you're new to the channel, guys, Equavox, yes, Colette. If you're new to this channel, guys, please like and share, or just the share. Send it to your friends who are all into the paranormal and spiritual field, and if you've got anything you do on Facebook yourself, whether it be the paranormal world or anything spiritual, then feel free to post your comments on here now, because we want to share your stuff as well. If you're part of the paranormal world, if you have your own page regarding spiritualism, then we will share your stuff, and all these good people will get to see that, guys. That would be great. Let me just try and get to the top of these comments. You'll have to forgive me looking from left to right, because I have a TV bank of screens in front of me, and on each individual screen I have different messages coming in from you guys. Please, can you tell me how I can get my mum to come to me? It's what you have to do, Cheryl. Someone came to me today in a message and asked me to contact their grandma, and they wanted some guidance from the grandma, and they wanted some spiritual advice. But mediums are not conjurers, and what I mean by that is we can't go out there and just bring someone to us. You have to bring that energy to us, and then we work with their energy, and then connect to that spirit person in the spirit world. What I would suggest is that you build up your loved one's energy, whether it be with an old photo album, looking at the pictures. Do people still have photo albums? It's all digital now. Something which belonged to this person, then hold it close to you, whether it be something you could put in your purse, or it's a pair of gloves they used to wear, then start wearing them themselves, or just talk to this person in spirit. The more you build up that energy, and then come to a sensitive person and ask that question, you'll find that there's a better chance that that medium, that psychic person, will be able to connect to the energies attached to you. But to ask for a certain person to be brought to them, then it's virtually impossible unless they're listening, because spirit do hear our thoughts, they do hear what we say, and if spirit are listening at that time the person asks the question, there's a good chance someone like myself would connect to that. So you have to carry that energy with you, and then come to a sensitive person and ask that question. I hope that helps.
Linda Brooks said, my team is Brooks Paranormal. We're on Facebook and YouTube, so if people can go and have a little look in her page, that'd be great.
Please do. All you have to do, guys, if you're part of something spiritual, anything paranormal, then it's just a case of what I'm going to do now. I'm copying our link for the YouTube channel where you will see all our stuff we promote. Some of the things are really good, what you'll see. Some are just like for fun, and it's a case of copy and paste, which is that. And then as you hit it there in the comments, everyone who's in this live feed now can go and click on that link. That's our YouTube GSI Paranormal channel. You'll see the team on there, as well as Shane and Andrew who worked with us, and you can view down our wall, see what we've been posting over the years. You can also subscribe and follow us as well. So if you've got anything like that, this is the opportunity for you to post your link in these comments now, because there's 40 people watching at this moment in time, and 40 people are going to then share that and share it again, so you'll hit a bigger audience. Bev Williams, thank you for joining us. Hi, thank you for joining us tonight. Don't forget, guys, if you haven't already, let me know which part of the world you are watching from. E.T. hasn't come in yet, so we don't know where he's watching from. Costa del Loftus, yes, it's an amazing place. You'll certainly go brown and it won't be from the sun. Let's have a look. Amy, thank you for joining us. Joanne Harden Hudson, good evening if I haven't shouted your name out. Faye, I've just seen that pop up before it disappeared off the screen. Do you have any questions, guys? Is there anything you would like me to answer? Is anything you would like me to answer for you guys? What else have we got going? Walton on Nares. Is that a place? I'm not familiar with that. You mean grabbed Helen. Tanisha, if that's pronounced right. Tanisha Tyman. What are you? Tanisha. What a unique name, yeah. Hi, Bev Williams.
Actually one of my ex-people.
All right, I see. Let's just see who else is on here. We're looking for questions, guys. Essex, thank you for joining us from Essex. Joanne, thank you for joining us from Swindon in Manchester. Who else is there? Nia Clacton, thank you. Not God GSI lol. Sheila Richardson, not sure where you're going with that.
She's just corrected herself. It's not right. God, it's GSI lol.
Yeah, it's when we type these messages on our mobile phones and we previously typed another word, then it will automatically just jump off and start typing something you previously typed. It's a bit scary when you've been typing rude things to your friends, and then all of a sudden you're talking to your boss through Facebook and you're sending him the same messages. I'm just going to post some links on the wall, guys. I know you're part of GSI now because you're here watching this live feed. I'm just going to post my page for my words of wisdom and spiritual quotes. That's on there, guys. Please feel free to pop along, give it a like and share, and you can also do the same as well. Can I talk about orbs, please?
No. That's why I said don't do it.
The most haunted word in the world, orbs. I am not a lover of orbs, Gillian. And the reason being is because 9 times out of 10 I can debunk them, and I get a lot of pictures sent to me daily. I get a lot of videos sent to me daily from you good people asking me, is this spirit who's around me? And it's normally a case that the person who's active in this location, in the room, or the weather conditions is creating fine particles of dust or mist. I will say that spirit will show itself as light, similar to an orb, but you will find that spirit will show itself as a linear line. And what I mean by that, it'll be a direct line of light. It'll go from one location to another. It may stop dead and change direction, where it moves from one person to another and pass through them. I'll just give you an example of why I'm not a great lover of orbs. We once did a investigation in a person's house not too far away from here, and we set up all the night vision cameras around the house, and what you saw was this bright white light, which was about that big on the camera, move in front of the camera, and then it went all the way up the stairs, right to the top of the stairs, and it got smaller and smaller and smaller, and at the top of the stairs it changed direction and went towards where the bedrooms were. Now this looked like spirit energy, but because myself and Vicky are quite big on our photography side of things, we know and understand how the lenses work, not only with night vision cameras but digital cameras. I know that this big light orb was actually a dot of dust which was smaller than a gnat's bollock floating past the lens, and it then changed direction. And it just so happened that the area it changed direction, which was in the background, this minute speck of dust looked like it was travelling upstairs, and at the top of the stairs where it changed direction, it was actually changing direction only millimetres away from that camera lens. So it was passing that camera lens, and all of the time we saw it in shot, it never left more than 2 millimeters away from the lens. So you will see things where it looks like a spirit energy is traveling from one room to another or around a person, but in all essence, this actually is a speck of dust millimeters away from the lens. When you see spirit energy as an orb like anomaly, you'll know it's spirit energy. But when you've got kids bouncing up and down on the bed and the duvet, and it's all the fibres and the dust is then moving around the air, people are videoing the kids dancing and they automatically think it's spirit around the children, and it isn't always that. But when you see spirit as a light anomaly, you will know it is spirit, believe me.
Someone else has just said that actually. Linda Brooks has just said, what are your thoughts on flashing light anomalies? Do you think that this is a spirit energy?
It depending on what you see, or whether you have evidence to show me, then through my guide and myself, I can connect to the majority of the things which get shown to me, and I can either tell you whether it is spirit or not, and on some good occasions I'll tell you who it is as well. But it's what you were making reference to. Spirit will show itself as light. Light is its first manifestation of spirit, and I do believe it goes from somewhat a dark shadow towards light, and as it builds up the energy, or we build up its energy, it then creates a light form to the extent that it'll become translucent, and if we're fortunate to see spirit, then it'll show itself as a translucent figure. Very rare any person will see a full apparition of spirit, and you probably find that the only time spirit shows itself as an apparition, we've missed it anyway, and we've caught it on the corner of a picture, or it's shown itself in a video, and it's only been briefly because we haven't seen it with the naked eye, and it's just passed very quickly. But your eyes are the best thing to capture spirit. What you see with your eyes, there's no debunking, right? It can be manipulated. If someone shows you something with a video or on a camera, there's a lot of ghost apps out there. Video can be manipulated as well. It can be altered, things can be added to it, but nothing can be added to your naked eye. So your best ghost capture device, not only to hear spirit but to see it, is your good self, because you cannot debunk it. It's if you see it with your eyes, it's fact. If you hear it with your ears, it's fact. And if someone else sees it with you, then they know you're not going silly.
We have a question of Lorraine, I think it is.
What, yeah.
What is your favourite location, Neil?
Favourite location? The most active location I've been to is actually my bedroom, and what I mean by that is spirit comes to me an awful lot when I'm in my hypnotic state, and in this room of the house I have more interaction with spirit here than I do anywhere else on this earth plane. One of the best locations I've been to is Thornaby Town Hall, a little town not too far away from here, where we've had masses of interaction. Another location is a place called Wharton Castle, which is just up the road from us. Another good place which we've been to recently is the Old Nick Theatre in Gainsborough.
That's my favourite.
That's one of our favourites. We had some amazing interaction, and on that YouTube link I've just posted there, you will see one of our videos where I'm not going to say possessed, but manipulated. I asked Spirit to work with two of our guests and manipulate not only their stance but thoughts and other things, and you will see that interaction on video as well. That isn't a plug for you go to our YouTube channel, but that is just for you to see what we experienced. Not only did it play with our K2 and our ITC equipment, but it actually affected people. Now, the K2, the millimeter, your spirit box and everything else, we can all say that could be something else affecting that equipment. But when it affects a human being, electricity doesn't affect a human being unless you touch a plug. When you ask spirit to do something to a person, and that person takes on that that stance which is being affected by spirit, then, like I say, your ears and eyes are your evidence, and what you see and hear is more or less gospel. Unless that person is a team member and they're a stooge and they're acting out what you want your public to see. But these were individual people who came along to the event, and that's that. Anyway, going back to where we were, what is your best location? That is one of the locations I would return every week if I could. I even squealed like a girl that night because spirit even spooked me out. I just wasn't ready for what I saw, but yeah, it was a really good night, and I saw all the thumbs up coming up from Helen and Michael there. If anyone can sell that place, then it'll be them too.
We had a question of Amy. I don't know whether she might want to inbox you, because I just think it's for her as such, and I don't mean to be rude with that.
Okay.
But if Amy, if you would want to contact Neil or GSI inbox, and we'll get back to you and give you some tips and stuff. I just think it's a bit long for everybody else. Yeah,
I will say, guys, you might have a question you want to ask, but you don't want to ask it with an audience of 31 people. There may be something you want to ask which is more personal, and you don't want to share it because you think people might laugh, or it may be just something else. If you've got that question, you can personally message me. If you do it through Neil Cook, Spirit Medium, rather than GSI, and then it is personal, it'll only come to me. What I'll do now, if you're not on my wall now, because I know we're viewing from GSI Paranormal, but the link I'm going to put on my wall now, by all means, send me a friend's request, send me a message, and I will personally answer that question for you. If you just don't want to ask that question in a public domain, everything will be answered in the strict of confidence, and it's my personal wall anyway, so feel free to do that. Just let me know, and I'll pop along and have a chat with you. What I will do, guys, because I know it's really active tonight with regards to our comments and questions. If I've missed anything and you've asked me twice and I've still missed it, then apologies, guys, but I do look over all the comments at the end of this live stream, and I'll do my utmost best to come back to you, love and like all your questions and interaction, and if there's something there I can answer, then I'll do that as well. Colette, I've caught a lot of EVPs in my house, living on my own. Yes, like I said, Colette, spirit is always around you. I know from our event we did the other night, we've still got our EVPs to listen to. That's why it's next to the PC. We've still got 6 hours of video, well, 10 hours of video footage to view on our night CCTV equipment. And the thing is, we're watching 10 hours of CCTV is we had 4 cameras on the go. So essentially, it's 40 hours worth of video footage. If you put all 4 images up on the screen, you'll become boggled-eyed, and you can only watch one at any one time. So we watch it frame by frame, camera by camera. So it does take a lot of watching. It does. Any more questions?
Sarah has asked a question. I often see something and feel something in my house, but when I see this, it doesn't scare me. It makes me giggle. Is there a reason for this?
More than likely it'll be your granddad, grandpa in spirit, and his characters come through, and this was a person who would have kind of always tried to make you laugh anyway, and although you're not physically hearing him clairaudient, his energy is passing on to you, and he's manipulating your humour, and by doing this you are getting the giggles. That's just me metaphorically speaking. That may not be the case. If that makes sense to you, then it makes sense to me why I said that. But you will find that spirit has the same character it took with him from this earth plane. So the grumpy old man on earth will then be the grumpy old man in spirit. The very loving and affectionate person, like our siblings and loved ones, our mums and dads who passed the spirit, will come back with that angelic energy as well. If you'll always find when you go to a spiritual church and there's a person coming through for a person in the audience, you will find he'll start cracking them jokes. The reader will tell the individual that he's saying this because, and he'll be rude and crude, but he's just passing on that all we are we are the voice box for spirit, and we will just tell it what we get, and you will find that character will come through the medium, and we will then tell the audience as well, or that individual. So yeah, it could well be that. It shouldn't be anything else but spirit around you which is connected to you.
Josephine has asked a question. Do spirits suspect people's private lives, if this makes sense?
Do you mean, do spirits stand in the bedroom whilst you're making love to your loved one?
Wow.
No, they don't. Do spirit come and stand in the toilet talking to you whilst you're doing your number 1, 2s and 3s? No, they don't. Spirit will give you that space. My spirit guide, I think we said this a couple of weeks back, but whilst I was in the bathroom and Vicky was outside, having been washed, having had a shower, and talking to me outside the bathroom, I merely pointed out that the energy of my spirit guide was stood with her because he didn't want to stand in the bathroom himself with me, and Vicky then ran off into the bedroom because I know she was naked outside the bathroom. So yeah, no, we get given that time. We ground ourselves when we want to connect to spirit, and then we disconnect from spirit. Good mediums who are trained with regards to this connection can literally be switched on 24/7. I know I feel like I am at most times, not always, and providing that I've got my firewall around me, which is my spirit guide and guides, then I'm pretty much protected. It's only when I'm at a low ebb and I'm feeling a bit poorly that my defences drop, and then this is the time where we can connect to something maybe we don't want to connect to. And I don't mean anything dark, I mean just something we just don't want to connect to. We don't want to know that information, or it's energy passing through, and it just sees someone like myself who's a portal to him or them, and they will try and connect to you, and you have to kind of usher that energy away from you.
We've had a question off Lorraine. Do you think meditation helps open up spiritually?
Yes, very much so. If you've just joined us, then listen further back. It's one of the best ways to not only ground yourself but make yourself more spiritual. You can't connect to spirit until you can connect to your own self, and what I mean by that is we all have a energy within inside ourselves, and in order to fine tune that, then meditation meditation is one of the perfect things. There's a lot of other things you could be doing. Google, believe it or not, is one of the best tools to see how to work as a medium as well, and what unique traits you need. And the reason being is there's a lot of good people like myself who spend hours writing information up there, their past life experiences, their present life experiences, and all their things they've done to help them work as in this field. So if you can't get the question from someone like myself, then just find a good source on Google, on the internet, and just take a leaf out of their book. We all tell our own stories, but they pretty much all read the same when it comes to our connections with spirit, and they make good reads, they do. Josephine Northover once heard a clear voice whilst in the bath, asked if she was all right in a deep voice. I was slightly embarrassed, but very intrigued. You have to remember, spirit can throw its voice, so it probably come from a greater distance, Josephine. But just because you can hear spirit doesn't mean that they're physically stood next to you at the same time. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Tanya Potter, thank you for joining. Good morning from Australia, Tanya. Hope you're well. You're about 10 hours ahead, so you're up early. Hope you're well. Excuse me, guys. Any more questions, guys?
I think we've caught up with everybody.
Yeah.
It's quite difficult on your phone to keep up with the
Yep.
the messages.
Joanne Hudson, I keep hearing my name, banging and shouting, and the bangs and shadows, not frightening, but would love to know who it is. I'll finish off on one thing, Joanne, right? And I say this many, many times, and I sound like a broken record. Spirit will do its utmost best to get your attention. What we may say is a poltergeist with the banging and voices and shadows and things like that. Spirit will keep making a noise until you communicate with it, until you address it, or until you hear it, right? And only when we acknowledge spirit does it stop making all this noise. Once we have the ability to communicate with it, either through a medium or some other source, then spirit will start communicating, and you'll find that once noisy spirit no longer makes as much noise and kind of communicates in certain ways. What's up?
It can see the bottom of the
Alright, I'm just cleaning the screen of my phone, guys, sorry. So what I would suggest, if you have a way of communicating with this noise, these shadows and this interaction within your house, whether it be a normal voice recorder like one of these or something basic, or if it's your mobile device asking spirit to show itself on camera, or just asking it to give you a sign from spirit. Once you make them connections and spirit knows you're communicating and you know it's there, because spirit will keep making this noise until you acknowledge it. Once you acknowledge the spirit, you'll find that your interaction will be somewhat easier. Ask spirit to leave a sign. If it's a loved one in spirit, you'll get your white feather, your pennies, your hairpins, or something which you haven't found for ages in your house suddenly appear on a bookshelf or something else. Ask for that sign from spirit. If you believe that spirit is connected to you and you believe who it is, then ask for the signs. Ask them to come to you at night time when you're relaxed in bed, when you're in that hypnotic state, when you're just going to sleep. You will hear or smell spirit. You will hear them communicating with you. You'll just be drifting off into the hypnotic state, and you'll hear that voice, and then you'll come back into the room, and that'll be your communication. That'll be them validating that, they're acknowledging that. They're always there, they're always around in the background, like you said. Just you need to acknowledge them, because we'll see and hear spirit all day long, but unless we acknowledge it as being spirit, we'll just assume it's the ambience of your day, right? But when you say, right, give me a loud bang, and something bangs from another part of the house, or you ask for a smell and you get the favourite perfume that your mum, gran or your aunt used to wear, or the tobacco smoke from granddad's pipe, then this is when they know you're listening and they'll give you that. So just remember that, guys. Although we don't speak out loud all the time to spirit, they'll hear our thoughts anyway. So I'm going to leave you with that, guys. Yeah, just because you can't see it, it doesn't mean it's not there, right? There's 1,000,000,001 stars in the sky at night. We can't see them, but believe me, they're there. And majority of the time we don't see spirit, but believe me, they are there. I'm going to bid you good night, guys. It's been an amazing chat tonight with you, good people. Thank you, Vicky, and all these guys who've been on tonight, and even Cassie for the sound effects. That wasn't spirit, that was her yawning because she's sick of the sound of my voice. Ian Griffins, you always come on at the wrong time, just as I'm leaving, mate. Thank you for all them love arts. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for that amazing interaction, guys, because without you, I'd just be talking to myself, which I pretty much do all day long anyway. Have a good night. Love and light to each and every one of you. Don't forget, you can still chat on here. And if you're listening to this part of it now and you've joined on a different date, I will tell you that it is 9:10 on the 15th of 11th 2017, and this is pre-recorded. Have a good night, guys. Stay safe, wrap up warm because winter's here, and don't forget it's 40 days to Christmas, guys. Just thought you might want to know.